I really feel like Catherine's addiction that's illustrated there to the quest, and she has that big epiphany of like, oh my God, this isn't really about finding the one. This is about questing. Really mirrors, and you brought this out so beautifully, Lee, because I didn't totally connect to that piece, that the men are also on a quest. It's the conquest. And so we really are both questing. It's just other sides of the coin. And so when we bring our conscious awareness to that, it can be extremely healing. And that's inevitably, what I'm hoping folks will take from that is raising their awareness and consciousness of what is this really about for me? Because it is trying to feed something within. I mean, and you see it in Catherine, like she's trying to fill something within her, and she thinks it's about the guy. But of course, it's never just about the guy.
No. Yeah, so it's that blind spot. It's that big blind spot that, it just, I mean, look, I do work on myself, very much inspired by, my wife, Brooke, which is how I've come to be connected with you. And so, so for me as a filmmaker to bring, like my vision is to bring, these kinds of tools into the mainstream film. I mean, there are films that I've tried it, and, for on one end of the spectrum, like you have like the Wachowski brothers, right, who do it in these like amazing futuristic ways, like in The Matrix, which is a very spiritual film series.
Yes.
I mean, and then most recently with like Cloud Atlas.
Yes.
But these are, very like fantasy driven, stories, and, and it's great that that's, subliminally the, the tools for conscious awareness kind of wash over an audience, but it gets lost on a lot of people. But then you have like on the other side of the coin where, where filmmakers have tried to do that with taking films like, Peaceful Warrior, and well, obviously there was The Secret, which is a kind of a different kind of film. It's not, it's a little bit out of the, doesn't really apply. But things like, again, like Peaceful Warrior, and even Eat, Pray, Love, which was mainstream with Julia Roberts, but, it was sort of like a banging you over the head with it, and, so my vision as a filmmaker is to kind of bring those tools in a more kind of raw, real story that that can really affect and touch people. And I think filmmakers that are out there doing that now are like David O. Russell, is like especially in his work. I love all his work. So, all right. So now let's talk briefly about your experience or the journey so far of working, with me, with a filmmaker, and the process of, kind of making it into a film, or the prospect, really. I think we're at the prospect stage of making it into a film.
Yeah. Well, it's not something that I had ever intended or imagined for myself or for my novel. Like, this was not something in my conscious awareness. And so it's been a really, really fun possibility to play with. And so I'm really enjoying bringing this into my visioning process and my meditation, and just seeing what is meant to unfold. I think it felt very validating in that this storyline downloaded into my consciousness, and I resisted. I mean, it took me over a year to write this book, and it was because I was resisting. I was like, I don't want to write a romance novel. I'm a serious writer. What is up, universe? Why are you having me do this? But it just kept coming in, like, you have to finish this novel. This is what you have to do. And so then to have you and Brooke connect to the project in this way and just have this vision, and I really love the vision that you brought in, seeing the two sides of the coin with the masculine, feminine, and also the desire to make films that really address what we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So I love Cloud Atlas and I love The Matrix, but to really this is our day-to-day experience. And how do we bring conscious awareness to how we're choosing to live our lives, even in something like finding a partner, and what is really going on there. I mean, that's so inspiring to me. And I really enjoyed this process. I'm really, really excited about the opportunity of bringing this story to film. I love your vision for it. I think folks are really going to resonate with it, and it'll be really fun to see how this will look, in the film spectrum, because I lived parts of it, and then we put it into a novel. but I think also like exposing folks to experiences like John of God is just going to be such a tremendous opportunity to just heighten our awareness. And of course, Oprah did that when she went and saw him, but this isn't a medium that is really powerful. And so it's been a joy working with you, and I'm really excited for the unfolding. And as I mentioned to you before, I've just never had any attachment to this because it was just so outside of my realm of possibility. And so I just am stoked to see how you create this, and just really excited to support you along the way and just be cheerleading this project.
And I'm just stoked that you just used the word stoked. I mean, that's awesome. Get some West Coast into here.
Stoked doesn't get enough play.
No,
It
totally.
really doesn't.
I totally agree.
I'm trying to work it back in.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I really do have to say that, you know, I am very honored to be working on this project, and you know, very honored that you chose me, or you let me into this, because this is, you know, for those of you who don't know, and I think a lot of this whole process is going to be film school for people. Heather, as an author, like literally has to trust me in totality with this property and in the medium of film. And that's a very big step. And I told her, I was like, look, that's going to be very hard. And thank you for that. I mean, it is really a big honor.